What was losing your virginity like?
Like and subscribe, or else these'll be in your bed tonight.
My first time I had trouble finding the hole. Had sex for about a minute before she made me stop cause it hurt too much. Laid on the floor from exhaustion. Not a very athletic person. Girlfriend got me a glass of water and handed it to me. Accidentally dumped the whole cup of water on me cause I blacked out for a second. Best night ever and I didn't even nut. I was in once. Pulled out and blew the biggest load of my life. One of the best 5 seconds of my life. We were both pretty drunk. I didn't have the coordination to thrust properly. I always liked the idea of going down on a girl, and I discovered I super effing did. So we lasted a while because I was going to town. The rubber had strawberry flavored lube. I'm sure she was faking it, but she sounded like she was having a blast. Quiet night with a girl I loved. It was special and honestly I wouldn't change it for the world. Awkward because both of us were virgins and we had a hard time getting a rhythm going. I also had serious performance anxiety so I couldn't even get off. Met up on a Tinder date. We talked for a long time. Then we went to Denny's, then we were holding hands. Then we got in her car and made out and then she drove us to a quiet neighborhood and then we banged in her back seat. She was super dry and I had to jerk off to finish. It was just like the movies. Not nearly as big of a deal as I always thought it would be. I remember thinking about it for a while before it happened. I was really into this one song for the longest time and remember convincing myself that I would lose my virginity to this song. Well, eventually the time came. Didn't even think about the song till afterwards. Awful. It hurt horribly and lasted about 30 seconds. The guy I was with was a scumbag. And looking back I can't believe I fell for him and let him do it. Oh well. You live and you learn. Well, the rubber fell off and got stuck in her hoo-ha, which I then had to fish out with my fingers. That was interesting. I actually had an awesome first time. The girl I lost it to was pretty experienced and was totally cool about my inexperience. We had many more sexy times after that, but she will always hold a place on my list of awesome people I banged. Started in her bedroom, after school. Her whole family was home. Her father was first generation Filipino, very awkward with broken English. We had music on. Started. The bed must have been louder than we thought. Apparently he had been saying her name outside the door trying to get our attention for a while. We didn't hear until he started knocking. Immediately tried to put our clothes back on and she answered the door. She made up some excuse. Came back in heavily crying. Into my crotch 10/10 would attempt again. It was like learning to ride a bike. Intense. A bit painful. And with my father's hands on my shoulders the whole time. Nerve-wracking beforehand. No idea what either of us were in for. Worried that we'd do something wrong. Worried we'd get caught. Not certain how to get the damn rubber on. You name it. Lots of nervous laughter. Fumbling with clothing. But once it started, we both kind of looked at each other like, hey, this isn't half bad. Lasted about 15 minutes. Neither one of us came, but holy hell, we'd done it, and afterward we felt kind of accomplished. Like we'd just done something important and hadn't screwed it up. Pun intended. We stayed together for 3 years. No regrets about that one. I was lying about being experienced and she bought it, but for some reason I went on for more than 30 minutes, and I just could not come. So she got sad BC she was insecure. Anyways, not the best first time, but I guess it'll do. Being a late bloomer, incredibly insecure and a virgin at 21, I decided to go to the local red light district and get some practice. I found a nice attractive lady who turned out to be very gentle as well. She took me back to her, rather seedy it has to be said, room. I don't remember much of the details, this being about 15 years ago, but of course it was over and done with rather quickly. The experience was very helpful to me. It made me a lot less anxious and made me somewhat more confident in later interactions with the ladies. Less glamorous than I thought. We broke the bed frame and we had to build a new one before my parents noticed. The test smashed we had on that new frame was great and to this day the frame holds true. Both our first times with the girl I thought I'd marry. It was slow, clumsy, lasted 4 minutes, and ended kinda awkwardly, but we kinda just cuddled afterward and were like, yeah, we did it. Got a lot better after a few tries. It was really fun. We were in high school, had been dating for a few months. He wasn't a virgin, never pressured me, but one night I suddenly decided I was ready. We ended up effing for like 20 minutes, including through the phone call I had with my mom complaining about me missing my curfew. A whole lot of awkward fumbling, then about 45 seconds of smashing before it was over. The next time was better, and it just kept getting better after that. Overrated. Don't get me wrong. It was nice when things weren't going wrong, but I was sat at my kitchen table, drinking coffee, the morning after, and I didn't feel that different as a person. I grew up thinking getting laid for the first time would change me, but boy, was I wrong. It was nice. We had been dating 3 months at the time. He set the mood really well with candlelight and soft music. I had remembered to wear deodorant and my vanilla body spray that day, so I smelled great, and was wearing a see-through lace top so I wasn't self-conscious about my weight. He went slow and gentle and made the experience more about me than himself, since he had already lost his and wanted me to feel comfortable. When I think of that moment, I remember love and joy. It didn't hurt much, and once we got past the pain part there was a lot of passion. We ended up getting married 4 years later, though we aren't together anymore. Greatest victory of my pathetic life. No foreplay. The girl was really skinny and we were like 14, so I couldn't even get it in while on top of her. She got on top. It went in and I think I was so nervous that I couldn't feel anything. We did it for like 45 minutes and that was about it. Never really had fun sex with that girl. It was nice. Had the house to myself because my parents were out in Vegas and my older sister was out with her boyfriend at the time. My girlfriend's brother dropped her off. We watched a movie for a bit. Ferris Bueller, Donnie Darko. We started making out. I asked if she wanted to go upstairs. Clothes were coming off on the way up. We did the thing. I didn't last that long. We were lying there for a while. I remember listening to Ocean Breathe Salty and Wild Horses. We showered together and her brother picked her up a bit later. Then my best friend called. He picked me up and was driving me to his house. He saw my shit-eating grin and got mad that I got laid before he did. Good times. Slipped out after about 30 seconds. I tried to put it back in and missed. She started laughing uncontrollably. Then I did. Went soft 3/10. Got better later. She's my ex now, but we still look back and laugh at that one. Absolutely fantastic. It was my second date with this girl and we were already super comfortable with each other. I'd had plenty of sexual experiences, but none of them went all the way for religious reasons. I decided I wanted to have sex with this girl, and it couldn't have been more perfect. Expensive escort in London. Was fantastic. Let's see. I was under pressure and I couldn't get hard. Put the rubber on anyway with 60% capacity. Rubber slipped off. Lost it inside of her after I came, and had to pay $50 for a Plan B pill. I was the virgin. He was a lot more experienced than I was. It didn't hurt like I guess it does a lot of women. I've read many comments just on here from women talking about the pain. I didn't experience that at all. I don't recall it being like super pleasurable either. I think I was just focused on the act itself. My internal voice going, OMG, it's happening. It's happening. It's over. I was disappointed because my shirt never came off. We were at his parents' house. I don't think I was supposed to be there, so it was all pretty rushed and hushed. I jizzed up her nose. The curtains caught fire. The dog escaped. All the tires of her father's car were flat. She had a pretty bad goose egg on her forehead, and I still can't turn my head as far to the right as I can to the left. Good times. It was with the girl I love and I was so nervous I couldn't finish, but it was one of the best experiences of my life. It brought us so much closer together. Nerdy teenager in a bed with a beautiful equally nerdy teen. Nervous hoping it goes alright. Can't find where to put it in. It's harder to find the hole than I thought. Bam, I've got it. I'm going in before I can fully commit to diving in, I hear. Wrong one. It was awkward to say the least. TLDR. Stabbed the wrong hole. Was awkward because neither her nor I came because it was so awkward and I was so inexperienced. Felt good though. Disappointing as is expected by most. I had no idea what I was doing and the girl, while experienced, wasn't good at explaining anything. We went at it for quite a while but I didn't even finish. We were both way too young, lasted like 30 seconds, then we were both really freaked out by the blood. She had to ride her bike home. Not a huge deal. I was 15. He was 17. We'd been dating a few weeks. We were both curious, so we did it. Neither of us drove, so we did it under the bleachers after practice. It didn't especially hurt. It wasn't earth-shattering or life-changing. We dated for a few more months. I was drunk and high as a kite. Wanted to impress her. Thank God she knew how the deed had to be done, because I just laid there thinking about how I should react according to the James Bond movies I had seen. A lot of drinking and I ended up with a rug burn on the head. Sadly, I don't remember much else. It's just like all the other times you have sex. Except you think it's a really big deal the first time, and you learn it isn't.